Well, hello, welcome everyone to our BG5 Live. Great to have all of you here with us today. Great to be back. And today we are going to take a look at trait number 57 in quality 5. So today is October 12th, 2021. This is episode number 126. And today, again, we're going to be taking a look at trait number 57 in quality 5. So we're going to be taking a look at intuitive clarity. So we're going to take a look at clarity to assess the process. So that's what we're going to take a look at today. So before we jump in and get started, let's say hello to our panel. Let's start with Anna. Hi, Anna. Welcome.
Hi, nice to be here again, always. Hello, everyone. Welcome.
Great to have you. Welcome, welcome. And let's go to Shelley. Hey, Shelley.
Hello, everybody. Great to be here. I'm just trying to pay attention to the Facebook page too. So if I look distracted for a minute, that's all that's happening.
Great.
Good to see everyone.
Great to have you here, Shelley. And Linda.
Hey, yay. Yeah, happy to be here again and looking forward to shed some clarity into this BG5 live episode. So
absolutely,
let's go. Let's jump in.
Let's go. Let's go. And I'm Karen Sherwood. And again, welcome to our BG5 Live. So let's take a look at clarity to assess the process in trait 57 in quality 5. Where is my mouse? There it is. All right. So again, taking a look at October. October is all about what we need to survive. This is also facing our survival fears as well. So I listed all of the traits here, leading with the 46, even though the 46 is not a part of survival instinct. It is really what kicks off the survival instinct. It's part of the penta. It's part of what is, in a sense, connected to that feel good of the survival instinct. We took a look at correction. We took a look last week of depth in the 48. Today, we're going to take a look at intuitive insight. Just recognizing I didn't fix the, Oh. All right, it's not working quite correctly. There we go. All right, so we're taking a look at intuitive insight. We're taking a look at the gentle. We're taking a look at penetrating to the core in the now. So that's what we're going to be taking a look at today. Next week, we're going to be taking a look at continuity in the 32. We're going to take a look at duration and conservatism. We're also going to be taking a look at values, the cauldron, the enforcer, the guarding and maintaining the tribe, the game player, the preponderance of the great, the challenge is life itself, and also alertness as well in the 44 and coming to meet, which is the personnel manager. So we're going to be taking a look at again, all of the traits that are in the survival instinct. And again, I always find it very fascinating that, again, this is the one function where all of the traits are directly in the row and where we are taking a look at this in October. And this is the theme of October, is really the survival instinct. We can see actually today we have the 57 not only as the core essence, but we also have it as the maturing energy as well. So really tapping in to to your own intuition to really help you with potential fears of the future, because that is the fear that we face when we're taking a look at the 57. What I find also very interesting as well, just as a side note, as we shift into 2027, this is actually part of the definition that we're going to see in 2027 is this definition between the 34, the 57, and the 20. So this is giving us also a preview of that energy, if you will, of what we'll be eventually moving into in 2027. Also, I wanted to take a look at very briefly the current environment. Now, it's the same as last week. So we are still in personal power in the 34 in quality 3, which is machismo. This is the indiscriminate display of power, and this is the display of power that defines any role, or it can also be the calculated display of power in order to define a role. This is a reasoned and calculated display, the communication of disinformation, right? So just paying attention to, where is this showing up? This indiscriminate display of power. I think we're seeing it a lot in many places of the world. It's also on the other side with the 20, it's also about self-awareness. So it's the understanding derived from analysis of personal action and effects. It's the proper attunement to development of the personality through self-consciousness, or it can be self-consciousness in the extreme that also hampers development. So it's almost as if, we have this machismo, we have this indiscriminate use of power, and it's really forcing us to also do a deep contemplation and being aware of ourselves, being aware of our own actions, being aware of what do we stand for or what do we not stand for? Where do we stand in our personal power, or where do we give our power away? And you can see a lot of that happening in the world currently. I would love to hear if Linda or Shelley or Anna, if there's anything else that you would like to add here, and just kind of observing this from last week, but also in this week as well, taking a look at the current environment in the past and future direction.
Just that, I'm sure we'll cover it, but just that the 57, the trait for the day, is connected to the 20 and the 34. So that strengthens this whole potential either way.
Yes. Yeah, and that's a great observation, right? Because we're in the 57 right now, and right, we can see that it's all connected, and that's what's creating this current definition, with the 20, the 34, and the 57. Exactly. Anything for you, Shelley or Linda?
Yes. I also see that the grounding balance is in the 51. Initiation shock. So I feel like we are being shocked into our intuitive knowing, and also in how our personal power and self-awareness will play out in the now moment, because I feel like we are being tested at the moment to really experience, and that's the only way that we can access our truth is through our body awareness and our body intelligence. And I feel like we are tested to trust our inner knowing, or to be swept away by everything that other people with power tells us. So I feel like we are, and that's what I'm sensing for a couple of months now, we are provoked into our authentic being, in being truly ourselves. And and I also feel that we are getting more and more aware of what is going on, and if that suits us or not, but not from a mental place, but from our body intelligence place. So that's what I notice.
Yeah, really powerful. Yeah, thank you for that, Linda. Anything, Shelley, that you would like to add?
I'm still really feeling my way into this, because this isn't a trait or a strength that I typically have. And so what I'm noticing more is the, places where this is showing up for me, and the contemplation, the self-awareness. I've just been in a big conversation with people talking sort of about what the coming times are, and I was a little bit surprised that I was getting a lot of fear back. And I was like, no, wait, this is a great thing. We're all coming into our own power. And one of the things someone said was, I don't trust people's personal power. I don't think they know it. And so
Mm.
this is really a time for, it may be confusing for lots of people to not understand what their own personal power even is. And so really this is a time for that contemplation and reflection to really see if you can feel into your own personal power and really paying attention to your body intelligence, your decision-making strategy to know what is right for you as this evolves, or as I think of this as being like a new muscle I've never used before. How do I make
Mm.
this work? So that's kind of just what's been going on for me with this this strength just this week. So I thought other people may also be in a similar place. So
Yeah.
that's all I have to share.
Oh, and I love that, Shelley, because it really is, moving forward into the future. This is part of this is the definition in the future, right? We're moving away from the 3740, right, of community, of really owning our own personal power. In a sense, this is sort of the backbone, if you will, of the body graph. And one of the things that we are moving into 2027 is we need to bring forth that self-awareness. We need to bring forth, what is our personal power? Because what we can rely on, and what we have relied on in the past, everything's shifting, everything's changing. We can see that on a daily basis. And again, one of the things that you may notice, and you brought this up, Shelley, is that a lot of people are in fear. Again, this is what's bringing out a lot of the fear as well, since like I said, in all October, we're focused on the survival instinct. And this is really the fear of survival, and the fear that we currently, or that you may notice currently, is the fear of the future, because that's what the 57 brings as well. So yeah. So again, just noticing it, being aware of it, seeing how it affects you or not, right? It's going to affect you differently depending on what you have activated in your design.
Can I add
So-
one more thing?
Yes, please.
I was in conversation too, that reminded me, Shelley, with somebody earlier in the week, and we were talking about the progression over time, the evolution over time of the 7-centered being into the 9-centered being. And a lot of our culture is still really relating to the 7-center arrangement, and not as many people are alert to the 9-centered being. And in a comment Ra made, Ra being the deliverer of this information, he mentioned that really on an evolutionary level, we don't know what empowerment is. The
Yeah.
7th-center being didn't really know that, and we're still in a very young stage of understanding what personal empowerment is. And so this, to me, this is a really cool discussion, especially Linda, when you pointed out the 51, I'm looking at the 54, the driving force. And for today, it's in an open center with an open trait towards survival. So it sort of activates this level of ambition, power, energy. And it's going to be really important to contemplate how we use this, pay attention to how we use this, because this could go awry really easily. When we're talking about fear can elevate really quickly.
Yes.
Especially with these other forces feeding it, and especially at a less conscious or an open way.
Yes, exactly. I just was recognizing we also have the 49 of revolution, right? Of principles and revolution, right? And we have the shock that's being universalized. So again, just paying attention and seeing what arises. And again, it's when you know the weather forecast, when you know what's happening, you can also perceive it and take it in and understand it at a whole deeper level. Yeah, thank you for that, Anna. Wow, very cool. Well, let's take a look at 57 here. So when we take a look at our theme for today, it's trait 57. This is intuitive insight. So when we take a look at intuitive insight, it's the gentle. It's to penetrate to the core of the now. Penetrate to the core of the now. This is part of the life work theme of penetration as well. So it's really going deep and getting into, what the core is. It's the extraordinary power of clarity. It's like a chill breeze that can touch you to the bone. It was very interesting. I was out of town last week, and I brought with me an I Ching book. And I was looking through the I Ching, and one of the things that it does is it shows what element each is connected to. And the 57, interesting enough, is wind and wind. So the top trigram is wind, the bottom trigram is wind. And with the 51, the top one is thunder and the bottom one is thunder. So they're both ones that have, in a sense, this repeated theme. And so it is like this chill breeze, right, that can really touch you to the bone. It's the maximization of intuition, of intuitive clarity that demands existential attention. And it's a deep inner attunement to sound, right? It is individual, so it's very acoustic. So it's this deep inner attunement to sound that constantly is alerting you to the environment. Now, if you do have survival instinct as part of your decision-making strategy, and you do have the 57 defined, this is part of how you make decisions, is really being attuned, and specifically being attuned to sound. You may be focused in the moment to hear the messages, or you must be focused in the moment, focused in the now moment to hear these messages from your intuition. This is one of the things about survival instinct, is that it's soft. You may not necessarily hear it. So you have to listen very carefully and closely in the moment to hear the message from your intuition. You may sometimes appear deaf. You may appear deaf to others, or be accused of being selectively hearing what they have to say. So this is one of the traits of deafness, which is, in a sense, turned inward, and it's quote unquote deaf for a reason, meaning that it hears what it wants to hear because it's individual. It doesn't want to be affected or conditioned or changed by what's on the outside. It's really tuning into that inner intuition. So pay a close attention to your intuitive knowing, because it alleviates the fear of the future. So the 57 is about the fear of the future, but when you really can tune into your instincts, those instincts can help relieve or eliminate a lot of the fears of the future. And it's a part of the creativity of the new era of the individual. So I'm going to bring forth, like I said, this is a taste of part of what is coming up in the new era, in the era of the individual. So I find that very fascinating as well. And I love what Linda brought up earlier, is that what grounds intuition, which I think is fascinating, which grounds is initiation, is shock, right? So it's something that penetrates to the core, that can shock you, that can awaken you, that can have you be very, very present in the now. And I know, Linda, you have this entire strength, right? You have the strength of the 5720. And actually, with the 57, you could have three different strengths. You could have the 5710, you could have the 57, and as we saw in today's chart, you could have the 5734, or you could have the 5720. And you have the 5720, right? Really being present in the now. I have just the 57, and it's part of my unconscious life work theme. And I think Anna, you also have the 57 as well. And Shelley, you don't have either. Is that correct? Yeah. So we have a wide variety to explain and explore what this 57 is all about. So I'd love to start with Linda, and especially in having the strength of the 5720, how you experience this 57.
Yes, this is something I'm getting used to more and more, and what I also use in coaching my clients. Yeah, for me, it comes natural. I don't know even what I'm doing, but I just know when I'm invited. So when clients work with me, they invite me to share my brainwaves. I just have my brainwaves really regularly, as you know, Karen.
Mhm.
And most of the time I really need to record because I just say it once and then it's gone.
Mm.
So it's amazing, and it's something I even now in working with clients, I'm even going to offer more and more to clients, that I just have some time with them and I just bring up everything that I just notice in their design, because my brainwaves are doing the exact job to give them clarity in the now. I just always intuitively say what they need to hear. And I also hear between the lines, because what they don't say and what they don't tell me. So it's really, this is, yeah, it's in the now moment. I cannot consciously tap into it. It just happens. I need to surrender to it. And for me, it's in my transformation. So it's, for me, it's really, and because it's natural, I'm getting used to it, that it's something that not everyone has. So I feel like, okay, this is something special kind of, and okay, I can trust it and it can transform my life, but maybe also the lives of others, because I exactly know what to say, and I can analyze a situation really quickly, but it can be shocking. So maybe that's the cool breeze.
Mm.
Because sometimes I just feel something is off, and then I'm able to point it out, and that can be really confronting to people. So, but I love it to have it, and that's also why I love the times we are in, and I'm also so passionate, just like Anna and Shelley, in discussing it with other people, because I really feel, because this is really individual, as you shared earlier, that I feel like I also can comfort people
Mhm.
in those times. Because I sense that the direction we are heading and everything what's going on, it's scary, and it's the fear of the future, and I can feel it, but I also feel that we need to go through this in order to have a different future that will bring us so much more satisfaction and surprise and success and peace. But we are going to be awakened and aware of what is going on. And then the only thing we can trust is our inner knowing and our intuitive knowing, and our body knows best. So yeah, this is, yeah,
Yeah.
I love it.
Beautiful, beautifully shared, Linda. Thank you so much. And Anna, I know you have just the 57, but you don't have the 20 or the 34 or the 10, just like me.
Yeah, I have the 57.3. So it's always been a big part of my life work. And I spent years teaching classes, really, how to track, how to listen, how to go not just inside, but be aware of this sort of 360 field, the environment, and the how to live basically with fear rather than in fear, not be at the mercy of fear, because fear happens all the time. I mean, there's plenty to be in survival about, and especially in this transition time, people really want that security,
Mhm.
some awareness, some compass to guide them. And so what I used to do has segued into BG5, and the more you can help a client listen, and there's lots of different ways to listen, but like Linda was saying, I can use the sound, you know, the vibrational level, the frequency in the room. I can tune to that and sometimes name for them or help them name for themselves what the discomfort is, you know, what the origin of that fear is. And a lot of times it's anticipating too far ahead, it's not in the present time, things like that. Let's see, I was going to say something else, but I just forgot it. So I might have to come around to that. But I wanted to ask you, Karen, you know, how you experience this.
Yeah, thank you, Anna. Yes, this is a part of my unconscious core essence. And I think this is something that I use quite often, meaning that often I will tune in, especially that one sentence that is when you have fears of the future. When I tap into my intuition, I can see clearly, in a sense, I don't even know how to describe it, because it's something beyond words, but I can get a sense of what needs to happen or what I need to do, or that everything's going to be okay, that I just need to trust the process. So I often find myself, you know, tuning into this intuition. And like Linda, I use this a lot with my clients as well. There's a weird like click that happens when I'm working one-on-one with someone that I don't get, in a sense, when I'm teaching just a general class. But when I'm really focused one-on-one with someone and looking at their design, just like Linda said, there's just like these things that pop up in the moment that just happen to be just like spot on, that if I had planned it, if I had prepared it, if I had tried to do anything, you know, it wasn't there. But in the moment, in working with the client, it's just there. And a lot of the work that I do, right, because this is part of my life work theme as well, a lot of the work that I do, even in teaching BG5, is helping people deal with the fear of the future. For me, BG5 is, and part of why I do it and part of why I love it, is because for me, this is a structure of how to move forward successfully into the future. This gives us a roadmap of how we're designed to operate, how to own our own power, our own uniqueness, which is going to be more and more important as we move forward into the future. So using, in a sense, that intuition, both for myself and working with clients and teaching the class, to help eliminate the fear of the future by understanding this information. And even with all the craziness of the pandemic and everything that's happening now, I have a sense of peace, because I know, just like Linda was saying, you know, we're going through the process, and I know, I can feel it, like everything will be okay on the other side, but it's not going to be pleasant until we get there. And we just have to hang tight, to stand our ground, to have that self-awareness, to understand where our own personal power is. And when we do that, right, then we have a future to look forward to. So thank you for asking that, Anna.
That is so cool. That was so well said. I just wanted to add that I do have the 57, and I have a lot of 2034s in my life. My daughter's got the 2034. And when I'm around them, I notice the difference in the 57, how I use the 57, because sometimes it'll just, like Linda just said, it's connected up. It's just automatic. You just roll with it. And then other times when I'm not around the, you know, one of the channels that connect with the 57, the traits, I notice how I use it differently. I use it more personally rather than, you know, connecting with the other. It's just fascinating.
Yeah, exactly. And Shelley, and not having it at all, so you don't have either the 57 or the 20 or the, let me pull up your chart as well, or the 10 or the 34, so you don't have any of this. I'm wondering what your perspective is in a sense, from just seeing this as from the outside, if you will, and not having this yourself.
Mhm. Yeah, I've just been listening to each of you and feeling this out for myself. To me, it feels like this is wide open for me. I know one thing is I'm not afraid of the future. When I look at my survival instincts, the only one I've got defined is the 44, which is the fear of the past. And definitely that was a huge theme my whole life, was the fear of the past. I dwelled on it forever and ever, hoping it wouldn't catch up to me and be my future. I think is where I've described it before. So I understand what that fear feels like, but I have none of that fear for the future. And I feel like, I think because I got the 3740 and I'm very grounded in that community-based togetherness, the tribal feeling of things, I have this overarching sense that everything's going to be okay. No matter what happens, everything will be okay. And that calmness in and having the open identity and direction too helps me feel into people that I'm around. I tend to pick up what's going on for other people, and I feel it at that internal level. I feel the fear. I feel the nervousness. I feel the lack of awareness of their own personal power, and I'm confused. I'm going, I don't understand why you're afraid. You have all this personal power. I can feel it in you, yet you're not aware of it yourself. So that's part of what I end up helping people with, is just connecting them with their personal power, so they can actually see they have it consistently. I've only got it now when this transit's turned on, and that gives me just another little bit of an experience with it. But I think part of that is when I look at my whole design, I know having the 3740, I'm here to kind of maintain that frequency while we go through this transition. So being open completely on this side gives me that ability to help people connect with their personal power while I'm holding that community space and feeling of being connected still as we transition to becoming more individual. And I have to say that's been a theme my whole life. From the time I was a small child, I was driven to help people be themselves. And in all the different ways that I may not have really understood what I was feeling as a child, as I got older, that was a constant, consistent theme throughout my life. All the training I've done, everything I've done for myself and to help others has been to help connect them with who they really are. I just didn't have the words for it until now. And now I have a map and a system to use that can really help. So that's how I experience it.
I love that. And I love being able to hear, the different experiences and the different perspectives of having the strength, just having the trait, not having any of it at all. You can see that, we all have a slightly different way or perspective in how we see this particular trait. Really beautiful. Thank you so much, Shelley. And one of the things I wanted to also share with you is this shift that we're in. Like I said, the 57 is part of the future of what we're looking at. And it's about creativity, and it's about creativity and work. And in the era of planning that we're currently in, it's continuity through conservatism. So it's been in the 32. That's what we'll take a look at the 32 next week. It's the continuity through conservation. And so it's the potential to develop the instinct through detailed attention to a process. So if you think of creativity and, the creativity in work, and creativity personally, it's creativity through a detailed process, right? So that's what's really brought forth the creativity of this particular area, is really looking at the details, identifying things, naming things. However, we are shifting. And creativity is shifting as well. So in the era of the individual, as we move into the era of the individual, it's utilizing our intuitive clarity. So it's only intuition can make the best out of a difficult situation when there are no answers. So it's creativity through intuition, right? They say that necessity is the mother of invention, right? So it's this creativity that is born through this intuitive insight to find solutions where there haven't been answers before, so we may find answers to things that we we've been trying to figure out through a detailed process, and that's not how we're here to figure it out. We're here to really find it through this creativity, through our intuition. So again, this is part of the shifting times that we're experiencing. Now, I also wanted to take a look at how you're affected when you're connected. So what is the shadow? Oops, I forgot to change this. So it's the shadow of the 57. So what is the shadow of the 57? So the questions are, do you have trouble tapping into your intuitive insights? Do you have an anxiety about the future because you're not clear what needs to happen or what needs to be said in the moment? Or are you unclear of how to behave or utilize your personal power in the moment? Right? So we can see everything that it's connected to. The problem is you have the ability to either speak in the now, which is the 20, accept yourself, which is in the 10, or use your personal power, which is in the 34. So the 20, the 34, or the 20, the 10, or the 34. However, you may feel disconnected to your intuition and what the needs are at the moment that will move you safely into the future. So this may cause you to have a fear or anxiety about the future as well. So the solution is you're really designed to work in partnership with someone who can bring insight to your knowledge in the now, your behavior or your personal power. So it's working with someone else that allows you to better access what needs to happen in order to eliminate the fear of the future. So again, being able to connect with someone who has that intuitive knowing in the now in OC16, this is part of being able to develop a new product or a new service or a new process, right? People who are aware of what's happening in the now, but they're not quite sure what needs to happen or, what practically needs to be brought forth based on the information that you're getting, in this now moment. So the 57, in a sense, is the intuition to know what's needed in the now based on that, based on that information, to be able to, like I said, develop a new product or service in the OC16. So, so we either have it or we, or Shelley doesn't have any of it. So we don't really have an example of, being connected or having that as a particular shadow. So I don't know if there's anyone else out there who would be interested in sharing, but again, this is something to take a look at with the shadow. I don't know if Anna or Shelley, yeah.
I'm just noticing that someone in the Isel Katz has had her hand up, up for a while. So maybe they have something to speak to you about this.
Yeah. Would you like to?
Isel? I'm not sure how you pronounce your name. Isel?
Yep.
There we go.
Let's see if we can
unmute. Ask to unmute.
Are you there?
They may have jumped off.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me see. I can promote you also to panelists, see if that works. Oh. Maybe not. Well, Excel, if you're here, we would love to hear with you. We have the ask to unmute, so if you would like to join us, we would love to hear from you as well. She's an evaluator, so.
Oh, wonderful! Yeah,
yeah,
that would be great.
Well,
thank you for the invitation.
Oh, there you are!
And
yay!
Yes, I am here. And I am just listening and tapping into this has been a very interesting based on what I'm actually journeying and noticing things in the moment. So I'm very aware of what is happening because I am traveling with 3 different people. And so I'm getting real insights that I hadn't had before. And I know that it's part of what I'm seeing so clearly things that have always been there. And yet I didn't have access. So very powerful stuff.
Yeah. And especially as an evaluator, being able to see and recognize and notice this. I can't remember from your design off the top of my head. Do you have the 20, the 10, or the 34? I'm trying to remember.
I do have the 34.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm just curious how that 57 is showing up for you now, and if there's anything like specifically that you've been really recognizing or noticing with that connection.
Because I'm in a different place of where I am usually at. I think it's harder for me to recognize and separate, and maybe that is the interesting part, is that everything is different, and yet there is such a clarity of I'm having a hard time putting words to it, but there's a clarity of something that I didn't necessarily want to know, but there it is. And now that I see it, and I can move forward without having to trip over myself, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But those are the only words I have at the moment to share. And I wrote something based on this, and I was shocked. I shocked myself when I wrote it, but then I read it and I was like, oh yeah, there it is. So interesting. And so that's basically what I have.
Yeah, I love it. And one of the things too is sometimes, especially with the 57, sometimes it's beyond words. Sometimes it's hard to find the words because it's a knowing, and sometimes translating it into words can also be very difficult. Yeah, thank you, Excel. So great to have you join us.
Well, thank you for inviting me to speak, Karen. I was surprised, but now I'm aware that that is something that I should be comfortable with.
Yeah, yeah. And having that insight from an evaluator is always greatly appreciated as well. So thank you for being here. Beautiful.
I wanted to add another part.
Yes, please.
And that's about how quiet the voice is. Because when you're talking about, it's hard to articulate what you're getting sometimes, because it's on a frequency level. It's not in words per se. It might be through sensations or through the right ear. My kids are both open in survival, absolutely open. And I've noted, it drove me crazy when they were tiny. I didn't get it at all. But then when I saw their charts from a BG5 perspective, I was like, oh, now I get it. And one of my kids was always saying, how do I tell what's good or bad? How do I know? Not on a moral sense, but on a what's safe and not safe, is if I leave food on the counter, now that they're an adult, if I leave my lunch out on the counter for 3 hours, is it still safe to eat? Stuff like that. I'd be thinking, you can't tell that. In my mind when they were younger, I was like, really? And then they sort of groomed me to understand how quiet this voice is, and especially if you don't have the voice, it's hard to articulate what you're trying to what the messages are, because you can get infiltrated with all kinds of noise.
Right.
And especially in the shadow zone, you do need a partnership, some kind of other person to bounce back and feed back to you what your body's telling you.
Yes.
And I notice, in our conversations, all of a sudden they'll just sort of relax. It's like, oh, now I can tell. And it's not necessarily me doing anything, but I've helped the frequency part just in our link together.
Mm-hmm.
And then their body could relax enough to sort of intuit in this open way what's safe or not safe, how to get clear on something.
Yeah.
So that voice is very, very subtle. And for some people, it's invisible.
Yeah. Yeah. Really great point, Anna. And really great illustration also of how that shadow works as well. Right. And then that ability to, with the solution, connecting with others to get that, that assurance of what is safe or what is not. Yeah, exactly. Thank you for sharing that, Anna. And then taking a look just at today's quality. It is trait 57 and quality 5. Quality 5 is about progression. It's the messenger when we're taking a look at quality 5. And this provides the clarity to examine the data and assess the process. This is the possible intuitive gift for evaluation, the natural ability to establish new forms while maintaining the power of reevaluation and reexamination. So it's being able to, in a sense, intuitively get out of the data, what is the message that this data is actually providing. Now, also with the challenge, when in action, the intuition may become overwhelmed and unable to assess or evaluate its progress. So it's the tendency to keep on keeping on that can end up as a misguided missile. So not taking the time to really taking a look at all of the data and what all of the numbers are trying to say. So just getting overwhelmed and just keeping moving forward, not in a sense waiting for that clarity, and again can end up as a misguided missile. Right. So that is the trait and the quality that we're taking a look at with trait number 57. I don't know, Anna or Shelley or Linda, if there's anything you would like to add there.
Well, I feel like with the challenge, when you get overwhelmed by the fear of the future, you are not paying attention to what your instincts are telling you, and the subtle voice is not being heard. So I feel like we are really challenged by these times, and also our mind gets a hold on us when it's having a grip of our fear for the past or the future. Our mind is always thinking about what has already happened and has a fear of, okay, maybe it will happen again, or it has a fear, okay, but maybe I don't know what's going on. So I feel like it's really important to be in the now, because otherwise you become overwhelmed with everything that your mind is going to tell you, and it's directing you far away from the subtle voice. And if you have the progression takes place when you are calm in the now, and you are able to intuitively assess, and that's something different than in a 32.
Mm-hmm.
That we already have seen with the details, but it's really, and that's also what I notice about the 57. It's about the bigger picture. It's like a connection to the greater whole. It's about something greater than myself, in a sense. When it's tapping into something in a well of wisdom that connects us all. So I feel like if you are calm in the moment, then there will be progression, because you are paying attention to what guides you. Yes. Through each now moment, because every moment is a now moment. And if you are staying aware and you're just taking a look at your environment, you will see what needs to be re-examined, what's right, what's wrong, and then you make progression. So that's how I feel about this quality.
Yeah, very, very powerful. Very spot on. Thank you for sharing that, Linda. All right. And let's take a look at our celebrity, and then we're going to wrap everything up. And I would love to hear from each of you, sort of wrapping everything up as far as what, what are some things for people to be aware of. So our celebrity is actually Margaret Thatcher, former British Prime Minister. And the life work theme is the Clarion. You are an intuitive and expected to carry essential and inspired information which others need or want to hear. You need to be sought after and pressured to speak. So again, she was a British stateswoman who served as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom from 1979 to 1990. She was the leader of the Conservative Party from 1975 to 1990, and she was the longest serving British Prime Minister of the 20th century and the first woman to hold that office. A Soviet journalist dubbed her the Iron Lady, a nickname that became associated with her uncompromising politics and her leadership style. And so again, leading through, and you can see that it's connected to the 34, right? So connected to her personal power. So having that strength, right? That strength can be, like iron when you're really convicted to, what your personal power is, and really trusting your own instincts. So I think this is a beautiful representation of that. So Anna or Linda or Shelley, I don't know if there's anything you'd like to add here.
I just have to laugh when I see her picture, and I remember her with the stiff upper lip, and then the English, and it's pressure to speak. When I see her design, everything comes into place. So it's wonderful, and she was an Iron Lady for sure.
Yeah, she was really impressive, I thought.
Yes.
And controversial and all of that, provoking, 39 in transformation. I just saw that her communication is in the 32, which we were talking about earlier. All the details, the specific data, and the combination of those two, the pressure to say something and to speak. She's got both of those. She integrated both of those past and what's coming elements.
Yeah, exactly. Beautiful. All right. So again, if you are new to BG5, if you want to find out, do you have the 57 or not? We would love to, we would love to have you join for BG5 Live, learning more, but also you can get your own chart at the BG5businessinstitute.com. Download your personal chart. You can watch past episodes of BG5 Live, both on our website, on YouTube. You can also see the trait of the day as well on our website, and our classes are coming up in January. So you can start to register for our January classes that are going to be coming up. All right. So let's wrap everything up, and I would love to hear from each of our panelists, and I would love to hear what are some things that people should be aware of or be present to, both in the next couple of days, because we'll be in the 57 for today and tomorrow before we move into the 32. But what should people be aware of or present to today and tomorrow? Shelley, would you like to start?
I was just thinking, really, for somebody who doesn't normally have this strength or trait, just really paying attention to taking advantage of the fact that it's here, and really feeling out what it feels like to be a little more connected to your survival instincts, to really be able to stop and take a listen, or just start to listen differently to the internal dialogue. Because often, I know that this has happened for me too, even it's inconsistent in my design. It doesn't mean I don't also get intuitive clarity now and then. often the way it works for me is that I'll be guided to go a particular direction. And I often don't know why until I get there, and then I'm quite surprised. So that's a way you can practice playing with it, is just follow your instincts, follow where they take you, follow where they lead you. And I've also had the small, still voice in amongst all the chatter. And once you understand that you're listening for that small, still voice, it's easier to hear and ignore the chatter. Because it sounds different and it only speaks once and it's very quiet, and you know that it's not your brain rattling on trying to convince you of things. It's that one message. And the more you start paying attention to that one message, and even if you just first notice that, oh, there was a message, I missed it, listening again, because it'll come back. They do come to all of us. It's just a matter of whether they're coming consistently, regularly, or on an inconsistent basis. So I would say just try to tune in to that small, still voice, and to follow your instincts, even if they don't make sense, and see where you end up.
Beautifully said, Shelley. Thank you so much. How about for you, Anna?
I like that. That's great. I was going to say something similar, that voice is very quiet and very different. You said it well. And the wrap up I would make is just notice your fear levels. What creates more excitement that starts freaking you out, and what creates less? Because sometimes it's the environment, the listening environment. Maybe you're listening to all kinds of news or whatever, or reading, or talking with somebody in some dramatic way, whatever. But listen to what accelerates the fear and what will start to alleviate some of the fear, because that's how intuition speaks to you. It's through your body, through your ears, but through other elements of your body too. And the more aware you are of the environment affecting you, whether you defined or not, the environment affects you. And I would just track that, kind of find out, is this environment aggravating me, into being more afraid? Is this environment soothing?
Yeah, beautifully said, Anna. Thank you so much. And Linda.
Yeah, both Shelley and Anna shared beautiful things already. What I also feel like is the fear of the future. So you might be more vulnerable, more open to what's going on in the world, because it may trigger your fear of the future more. It maybe give you more sensations in your body, because you also are able to hear between the lines what's not being said, but you can feel the threat. It's about our survival. I feel like we are heading in such a different direction than we are used to, that everything that benefits from how it's organized right now is struggling to stay, but it won't stay. So I feel like it's an invitation to get used to follow your body intelligence, to be attuned to what your body is telling you, and to also trust that eventually, whatever happens, you are equipped and you are at the exact right moment in time. You are here for a reason. And to feel that strength, to feel that, your maybe even your life mission come at play, because I feel like these times are inviting us to experience our individuality.
Yes.
And in moving forward, we are able to display our individuality more and more and more. And we are, as I in the beginning said, we are challenged to go back to the one thing we can trust, and that's our body and our decision-making strategy. So be aware of what you sense, to the subtle voice, to the fears, but also enjoy the feeling of individuality.
Beautifully said, Linda. Yeah. And ultimately, it really is being present in the now, trusting yourself. And as Linda was saying, just following your decision-making strategy. Fabulous. Well, it has been an amazing, amazing discussion. Thank you so much. Thank you, Excel, for jumping in and sharing with us as well. And we will wrap up for today, and we will see you next week. And look forward to seeing you then. All right, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.